I'm not gonna waste your time, so let's just get straight into this tutorial. First off, you obviously want to open Midjourney, and then you want to pick a base image. As you can see, I've picked one of Baby Yoda, and I've written quite an elaborate prompt. We're gonna go into detail about what prompts are good for these infinite zoom videos later in the video, but right now we'll just focus on the basics. When you've generated an image you like, you want to upscale that image. I like this one, and down here U basically stands for upscale, and you can see U1 means this one, U2, U3, and U4, so I press the Upscale 4 button and we get an upscaled version of the photo. When you've upscaled the image, you get the option to custom zoom, so you want to press that button. You basically get to write a new prompt and you decide how much you want to zoom out. 2 is the max you can zoom out, and we're just gonna go with 2. It's important that you go with the same amount of zoom every time, because if you don't, it will mess you up in the editing process later. The only thing I've changed in the new prompt is that I've written Baby Yoda in Futuristic City instead of writing Baby Yoda fusion with Cyberpunk. And we get these zoomed out images to choose from. I chose to generate 4 more because I wasn't quite happy with these ones, and I ended up choosing this one. So once again, we say upscale, and I want to upscale the third one. And once again, you guessed it, we can custom zoom out, and this is basically the process to create the zoom out images. At some point though, you most likely want to make a transition inside the image. That's what I've done here. The way you do that is just to write a completely new prompt. Giant colorful wormhole is a good example. It could also be portal or whirlpool or something like that. But the most important thing is that you can see I've deleted all of the rest of the prompt, so it only focuses on the wormhole part. Scrolling down, you can see I repeat the process here to zoom out further and further and further. And when you're happy with all the images you have, you basically right-click the upscaled images and you say Save Image. And you make sure to save them in a certain folder. When you've saved all your upscaled images in a folder, you open up your editing software. I use Premiere Pro. If you want to use a free editing software, the best thing out there is DaVinci Resolve. I'll put a link down in the description, so you can use that. It can basically do the same things as Premiere Pro. When you've opened up your editing software, you import all of your images into the program. And now you want to make sure there's a video track for each clip. So there's 7 clips, and therefore we're gonna make 7 video tracks. We take our clips and drag them to the top. Now, if you got a lot of clips, the shortcut here is to mark all of your clips except this one, and then you hit Option down, and if you're on Windows, it will be all down. Mark all the clips, Option down, and this makes the process a bit faster. Now, when this is done, you want to drag photo number 2 all the way to the start and photo number 3 all the way to the start. And then when you come to photo number 4, you're going to want to drag that one all the way to the end of photo 1. And you just continue doing that. Now, next step is we go into photo 1, and we're going to start what is called keyframing. And you keyframe by pressing this little watch thing. It locks us on scale 100 right here, and then you want to go all the way to the end, and you want to make a new keyframe at 50. As you can see, the second time you do it, you don't need to press the watch again, but when we go down to number 2, we're gonna want to press the watch once again. The difference is that on image number 2, you're gonna want to make the scale 200, so it doubles in size. And then you make a keyframe, and then you want to go to the end of image number 1, and we go back to image number 2 now, and then you want to make a new keyframe, and that keyframe is going to be 100, so it is half the size, and then you want to go to the end of image number 2 and make it half the size again by pressing 50. Then we go to image number 3, and now it is not 200 we want to keyframe it at, it will be 400. So we write 400 in scale and make a keyframe. Then we go to the end of image number 1. We go back to image number 3. We make a new keyframe, this time at 200. Then we go to image number 2, go to the end of that, back to image number 3, and we make a new keyframe, this time 100. And then the last one will be 50. Now it's just going to be the same process as with image number 3. So we're just going to say 400, pick image number 2 this time, go to the end, go back to image number, oh, and now I forgot to make the keyframe. So we make the keyframe at 400, we go to image number 2, go to the end, go back to image number 4, say 200, then we go to the end of image number 3, go back to image number 4, when you've repeated this process for all of the images, you will have something that looks like this. As you can see, there is still a square here, and we want to remove that. So we go to the effects rack and we search for crop. We find the crop effect and we drag it onto the effect controls. Then all you want to do is put all of these on 5% and this one on 10. Then you copy the crop effect and then you paste it onto all of the other clips. You just press the clip and then you press Command V or Control V on Windows. And then voila, we have a nice zoom out video. Now this does look a bit messy, so you want to nest all of it. You just select all of them and then you press nest and you give it a name, Yoda Zoom. And then you can see that it's beautifully on a timeline here. If you want to make it faster, you right click the clip and then you go to speed and duration. And then we can say 400%. And as you can see, it will be a lot quicker. Before going into the final tips and details of how to make these infinite zoom videos, I would like to propose a deal to you. If you press the subscribe button and like this video, I promise to work hard every day to bring you content that will help you and benefit you in the future. Thank you. I really appreciate that. One important tip is to use a specific aspect ratio. You do that by pressing 2 of these signs. I don't know what they're called in English actually. And then you press AR space and then you choose an aspect ratio. And 147:184 is very good for Instagram, for Twitter and Facebook and basically most social media. It creates an image that is slightly taller but still keeps a nice width. In my experience, it also creates better looking images. This is all subjective, of course. One thing that's especially important for these infinite zoom videos is that you have words like bright and colorful in your prompts. The reason for that is that when you zoom out, Midjourney has this tendency to make everything much darker and you can't see anything. I have an example of this further up. As you can see here, I started with this image, which is very cool. But as you can see, when I zoom further out, everything starts becoming very dark and we get to a place where you can't really see anything and everything just becomes black. So it's a very good idea to have something with bright and colorful in the prompt when you're making these infinite zoom videos. Now the final tip I'm going to talk about is that you can actually change slight bits of an image if you don't like it. As you can see, I've zoomed out on Yoda here and I don't quite like his hands, so I'm going to change them. Now the way that you change this is that you choose the option that is called Vary Region. As you can see, I've already marked the hands of Yoda. The way you do this is you can either choose the square marker and mark a field of the image. If you don't like it, you can press backwards. But as you can see, I've chosen this tool where you can mark more detailed. After you've marked the hands or whatever you want to change, you write in the prompt what you wanted to change it into. So I've just written hands and this was the product. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.